Okay. And what you are seeing here today, it is a mansion that was once dominated as a vast sugarcane plantation, which had 6,000 acres of land, over 2,000 slaves working on it. The house originally started in 1750 by George Ash, a wealthy English planter, who named it after his wife Rose, hence the name RoseHall. George Ash died 2 years later, but Rose remarried 3 other times. It was her last husband, the Honorable John Palmer. He completed this house between 1770 to 1780. John and Rose Palmer died, they had no children. But the house was built to his grand-nephew, John Ross Palmer, who later met, then married Annie May Paddison in 1820. So Annie became the second mistress, also the wife of RoseHall. Annie was born in England 1802 to an English mother and an Irish father. Her parents were merchants. They were interested in trading, so they moved to Haiti when Annie was 10 years old. But 1 year after their arrival in Haiti, her parents both contracted the yellow fever virus and died. Annie was then adopted by her nanny, a black voodoo priestess. She's the one that taught her everything about witchcraft. When Annie was 18, her nanny died. She knew anyone back in England, so she couldn't have gone there. But at the same time, she heard of the many rich farmers that were living in Jamaica. And that's the reason why she came here. Then she met and married John Ross Palmer. The slaves were the ones who gave her the name the White Witch because she lives inside this house for 11 years. Within 9 years, she murdered all 3 husbands, along with countless slaves lovers. She was eventually killed in December 1831 by her freed slave lover, Taku. So when I go upstairs, I'm going to take you to the bedrooms where all the killings took place. Now here is the ballroom where the Palmers would socialize with their wealthy friends. They would dance to the 17th, 18th century chamber music. The room was enhanced with candlelight. There was no electricity. Today, all lighting systems are converted. Chandelier above, 18th century piece. It is made from French gold jewelry. Any questions?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to the The library is the most frequently occupied room in the house. All business discussions held here. Portrait on the wall is of Rose, first and good mistress of the house. She was considered to be good because she had 4 husbands, all of whom died naturally. Unlike Annie, who murdered all 3 husbands, there is no pictures of her. The night when she was killed, the slaves burned all of her personal belongings because they were celebrating her death. Mahogany cane chair, when it's unfolded, it becomes the library steps. Oh, wow. It was used to get books and records from the high shelf. The English back in those days, the average height was like 5 feet, 2 inches tall, so they were short people.
Mm-hmm.
How old is the wallpaper and different things? Original?
So they change like every 8 to 10 years.
Oh, okay.
This is the main dining room where the Palmers would dine only when they had guests. Directly across, a peace mug in a brick front, there are 18th century trade Chinese dishes on display. And right here, it is a Sheraton inlaid sideboard. These are 2 Sheraton knife boxes. Annie would keep the knives in these tiny slots. She would then lock it with a key, just to ensure that the slaves don't get a hold of one of the knives and come and hurt her. So she was living in fear because of the way she treated the slaves. King Louis, the 16th of France, Annie brought the painting along with her when she was living in Haiti. He was a French governor. So this is original to the house. The reception hall, everyone including the servants, they entered from this door, and this would be the main entrance to the house. Kitchen was made outside, just in case of a fire, the main house wouldn't get dark. When servants are serving both rooms, they had to whistle. If not, Annie would consider them to be stealing the food. She would have them beheaded for it. So the house today is privately owned by an American couple, Michelle and the late John Rollins. They're from Wilmington, Delaware. They spent over $2.5 million in US to have it renovated, but the price of the house wasn't disclosed. Renovation took them 6 years to complete. So this was the condition of the house in 1965 when they bought it. It stood abandoned for over 130 years without anyone living inside of it. It just naturally decayed. And the stones that built the house, original limestones, came from England as ballast and ships in exchange for sugar and the rum. Original painting dating back to the early 1900s. But the persons on it, they are unknown. Neither Rose or Annie had children. Psychics came here believed the girl in the red dress could be Annie, but we have no proof. You could watch her eyes while walking along the pathway here. Wherever you go, her eyes seems to follow you. Go ahead, try. You can see that her head is turning to your direction. That is weird.
It's always watching.
Someone is watching you. But right here was a secret passage door once leading to the dungeon. As you can see today, it is no longer a secret. It is just a staircase. It was a door that Hapu, the freed slave, came through, went upstairs and killed Annie. And behind this door usually be a secret tunnel leading all the way to the ocean. Just in case of a slavery uprising, the slave masters would escape from
All the
here.
way down.
So when the Rollins came here, the tunnel was badly caved in. They blocked it off.
Can we go down there? What's down there?
It's just the bathroom and the bar. So we'll be going there as soon as we're finished.
Oh, okay.
upstairs. So the grandfather clock, it was donated to the house by the late famous country and western singer Johnny Cash.
Oh, wow.
So Johnny Cash and the Rollins were close friends, and he once at a house 5 minutes drive away by Cinnamon Hill. So that would be his vacation home. Welcome to the morning room, otherwise called the breakfast room. Palmers dine here, but only when they're dining alone. To my right is a mahogany Welsh dresser. These plates contain lead inside of them. They are pure. Eating from those plates, it could slowly lead to brain poisoning. So they say that's what made Annie a little bit crazy. But to me, she was a lot crazier. To your left on the wall, that's an inlaid plumbing system called the copper lavabo. And that was used to wash hands and silverware before and after meals. So that was similar to running water. On the floor, there's a wooden pail, weighs 15 pounds without the water. And that was used to fetch water 1.5 miles away by the slave children. If the water spilled, they would be whipped several times across their backs. So at the age of 10, they would be strong enough to start working on the plantation. So it contained 3 gallons of water, and they would start it from the age of 6. You like to feel it? So go ahead.
You know that?
I can lift 15 pounds.
So we'll be going upstairs where all the loving and the killings took place. Watch your step.
Thank you.
So here would be the family sitting hall. After Annie's death on the plantation, the house was turned over to the British government. They sold it to 3 separate families, the Jarretts, the Barretts, and the Andersons. Andersons purchased the house in 1905 to live in, but their maid was standing on the balcony cleaning for the Andersons to move in when she fell, broke her neck and died. They believe she was pushed by Annie's ghost. The Andersons were convinced.
Don't step out there.
So they were convinced that the house was haunted, so they stripped the house of all the woodwork, along with the furnishings, then moved to Kingston, where they helped to build a house called the Braemar. So all of the woodwork, they are new, made from the Jamaican mahogany. The furnishings are genuine 17th, 18th, and early 19th century pieces. Fabric on the walls, most of it is silk. Throughout the house it is fabric and they are replaceable. As we go along, we notice a lot of Chinese influence. Those were trading back with the Chinese. So right here would be Annie's favorite spot, where she would either sit or stand to watch the slaves being punished out in the middle of the courtyard. So that was a form of entertainment for her. She was crazy.
Mm-hmm.